Welcome back, everybody, to For the Love of Indy, and today we are covering Portland, and we're a little late on this one. Just hard to find time now in this changing schedule that I have going on in my life. So, yeah, we're a little late, but it's an off week, so it's not
we're recording it on race day. So we would have been watching a race usually right now, and next Sunday you'll be at the race. So.
Right, yeah, we'll be at Milwaukee, and we're kind of looking forward to that, and hopefully these last two races can go a little bit better for our drivers since this.
I know. Well, we had one driver that did okay, that we're fans of, but
yeah,
it was a tough race for most of our teams.
I think as a whole, Portland was kind of, at least in terms of who we were rooting for, a nothing race. I would say as overall, but in terms of being a different outcome, having an interesting first half, I would say, of the race. The kind of there was some stuff at the end there too that was a little bit interesting, but I think definitely the middle section was just a lot of kind of it was there, like not a ton happened. So they were still trying to pull this Pato has a chance arc, which was very funny going into the weekend.
But Pato did get pole, so I mean, that certainly helped with the arc at the beginning.
Well, he got pole by proxy because Lundgaard had the engine penalty,
That's
and Lundgaard got the P1 award. And still once again, next season I feel like Lundgaard is probably going to be a little bit more comfortable, might be able to take it to Pato and make his...
Yeah, I mean, when you look at Lundgaard's season as a whole, he's done a really great job.
It's probably one of his better seasons. I mean,
for sure.
Last year I think he had a win, and it's kind of hard to not have a win on your belt when you've literally only gotten P2, 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 right. P2, P2, P2 out of all of your podium finishes. But it is a lot of consistency.
Winning all the time, and he's getting P2 all the time. I mean, really, that says a lot about you as a driver, because who's beating Palou this year? It's really tough.
It's very
few. He's won 8 races or 9 races now. I don't know. And when you think about even last year, did Pato got second? I think in the whole season or championship, and he wasn't winning races, but he was so consistent in the top 5 that kept him in the points. So Lundgaard up there in the points too.
Yeah, and I definitely think it's impressive for, again, switching to McLaren this year, being at a new team, and to be delivering better with the McLaren team than with RLL.
Right.
So either it's something with the car setup, or maybe the way that McLaren sets up their cars that he drives, he can drive it better. It's it was a good move for him, and again, he finished P2 this weekend. We were so close to a win for Lundgaard. Was kind of I feel like the top 3 were battling out at the end. It's dang, none of these were really ideal options, but out of all the options, I think a Lundgaard win would have been the best.
Right.
Powers, second best, and Palou winning another race would have just been really tough. So we at least didn't get that option this weekend, but I mean, Lundgaard especially also to come back from starting 7 and be able to at least put up a fight for the win.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, he had pole. He was supposed to be in the start, so the only reason he wasn't starting was because of the engine, and that's, kind of out of his control, really, as a driver. So you feel for him. Now, gosh, if he would have started first, I feel like he would have finished first.
He probably would have walked away with that race.
Yeah.
At least had a better shot at it.
Yeah.
And it definitely kind of stinks to have seen that happen. And in terms of power winning, I mean, I can't necessarily say it's a whole shocker, because he did win it last year. He did get pole last year. Yep. It was kind of a sweep for him last year.
Right.
And to see that, see him win it again this year, it's not entirely unshocking. And Penske probably knows how to set that car up exactly for how he wants to drive it around that track, and they probably changed nothing between the setup this year and last year besides the minuscule changes for temperature for tires and stuff.
Penske had some team changes, right, too, at the beginning of the seasons, but I don't know if his team was really affected.
I think all three race engineers were fired from what I remember because of the
so he has somebody
of the attenuator thing. So kind of around May, Penske does a whole massive shakeup, and then we kind of see Penske in the dirt. And
Right.
this was almost going to be their first winless season.
I know. They were really close to a
from
winless
the last
season,
one
which
being 99.
who would have predicted that? I mean, the Vegas odds of that would have been
Yeah.
minuscule,
Right.
right? For not at least one Penske driver to win, especially after their dominance. And so, makes you wonder, too. Like,
Yeah.
the dominance, maybe there was a reason for it. I don't know.
Right, at least something with those
Something
people.
was up. Something was up.
And,
Because now
yeah.
that they're the way that they are, they're kind of like any other team, except for now we have Ganassi, who's really pushing.
Right, and it's kind of a shame because it's like if you would have told me, a year ago, like, yeah, we're gonna have an absolute like Penske's kind of in the gutter with everyone else.
Yeah.
And you're like, great, it's gonna be a great year for overall racing. A bunch of different people have a chance now, and then it's like, oh, but no, Palou wins 8 races, and like and then Dixon wins another one. So it's like basically Ganassi's whole season, and they just completely wipe the floor with everyone else. It's like, oh well, that kind of stinks. You know what I mean? Like it's so they at least get their win, and they keep their 26-year streak of at least having a win in a season going. And
then Power's like on the cutting table too, so he's desperate for a win. So I feel like any athlete, when they know they're on that cutting edge, they're either gonna just go give up or they're gonna go for it. And Power is just like, I'm going for it. So you really saw that in his driving. He's like, I'm not letting anybody else win this race. And he came for the call. He made the call. He showed up.
Yeah, it's kind of like the one race that Perez had in F1 with Racing Point, where it's like he was going to lose his seat, and then he wins in Racing Point, which is kind of like a wild scenario to even think up in F1 terms. And then he got his Red Bull seat after. So I mean, he's already at the top team, so now it's just a matter of where's the contract extension or not.
Right.
I think at this point, just given that performance, he's also outperformed McLaughlin and Newgarden.
Yeah, and Malukas is, the driver that's coming up into that seat from all of the rumors or whatever, the plans. So, and he beat him too, and he's like been really. Malukas is doing really well considering, AJ Foyt, and that's a challenging team to.
He's outdriving a Foyt car.
Yeah, he's outdriving the car. Yeah, for sure.
So it's kind of it really almost makes this an even harder decision for Penske because I think if Power didn't perform this race and then let's say his next 2 races are bad, it becomes pretty. It was getting kind of like, well, but he also was outperforming his 2 teammates, so it's kind of like...
It's tough, yeah.
Yeah, it really makes it tough.
Because if both of those guys were doing decent and he was just kind of in the mix of it, it would be, I think, a much easier plan or decision. My gut is the decision's already been made because even after his post-race interview, it almost sounded like he's not coming back to me. But I don't know. We'll see.
I don't know. I think... we have seen it where drivers have done this redemption race, or they've done a redemption game in a certain other series of sports, right?
Sure.
And the decision was already made, and so it's just kind of like, well, that's great for them on a personal level, but this does not actually help them in their career anymore. And so I guess it's hard to say, like, it could have been... Because the other weird thing was that Malukas was running a Gallagher livery this weekend.
Right.
Which
so that put it...
was really, really
the optics
weird.
Of that, right?
Yeah.
People are just like, whoa, wait, that's a Penske normally sponsor.
And Penske doesn't share their sponsors. Like, David was trying to be like, oh, well, like, Foyt being, kind of a shared team with Penske, and, like, we share data. We can also share sponsors. It's not that big of a deal. And it's like, no, it definitely is.
Yeah,
like
that is a big deal.
In this sort of thing, it definitely is.
Yeah.
So it's like, because clearly it's Gallagher saying we want to test out our future drivers' skin, or our skin, skin on his car before we move him in. Like, do we see if he fits with it, kind of thing? Like, do we like the vibe of it, or whatever Gallagher's reason for that is?
Right.
But it's like. And then he had a really bad race, which, like, also sucks, to, like, have that. And I don't know. Like, maybe the decision was made already. Because I feel like Malukas also seems very confident in kind of what's going on.
Yeah.
He's not...
he did the drive around, too, with Will. How they'll do, like, a track drive around, and you can watch that video on YouTube or with Fox. And So it's, I think, fun for Will because he's new to most of these tracks. So he, gets in the car and talks to them. And sometimes they'll do it with all three of the announcers if it's a 4-seater. But this was a 2-seater with Malukas for this race. And of course he's like, hey, so what's up? What can you tell me? And, Malukas is just like locked. He's not going to say anything. But you think that... he does have that confidence. So is that confidence just because he's doing a good job, he's a good driver, or is that confidence because he knows something?
Right. I think it's probably because he knows something. My guess is this decision might have been made before Portland, and this is just really, really bad timing for Power.
It is, yeah.
But also, it's like kind of at the same time, it's like, dude, you're also 42, 40 something, right?
Yeah.
And it's like, and Dixon's also really old, and like both of those guys are still winning races in this season alone, and prior seasons and stuff.
Yeah.
And it's so weird that IndyCar like that it works out in IndyCar that old drivers can still like put up a fight.
Especially since it's a tough car to drive. There's so many changes. I mean, I guess you've had the same chassis for
12 years,
over a decade, beyond that. But yeah, I mean, you don't have like automatic steering. I mean, you've got to have a lot of strength to drive that car and strategy. And there's so much with the pit crews too that really make a big impact. So, but yeah, it is really interesting to see. Oh yeah, you can have drivers from the age of, I don't know, like 18 to 45, driving, and even older in the 500 if they qualify. When you look at some of the older drivers that come back and do that.
Right. I really think it's just very strange that they're able to just do that, but at the same time, he's got a family, like, it's kind of like, it's at what point, clearly he'd have enough money to live off of the rest of his life, or he could become a pundit, or he works as a advisor for another team, like, there's still money in this, even if you're not driving, so at what point do you call it a day, when do you quit while you're ahead, or do you start having bad race, and then you're dumped, right? How do you want to?
Yeah, do you want to end on a high, maybe, or
because this would at least have you end on a high of you finished with a win on what almost was a winless season. You're the only Penske driver to win, assuming Newgarden doesn't do well in these ovals. McLaughlin doesn't do well in these ovals, right?
Which odds are they'll do well on those ovals. I mean, if they're gonna do well. They have a lot of incentive too now to do well, and they are both really well known for having effective oval races and strategies. So
right. So I guess, but I think that's the story really of the race was kind of the Power Malukas thing. Because it just seems like,
and the Lundgaard stuff too.
And Lundgaard, obviously, like Fox's big story that they wanted to cover as this major thing was
with Pato.
Was Pato Palou stuff. And obviously, Palou, it was just statistically almost improbable.
The odds were almost impossible. And then, of course, Pato has electrical failure. Early in the race, they were able to make changes and fix it, but then he's down 17 laps or something.
Yeah, he's down 17 laps. He started on the front.
Just no points, nothing to do. And so then at that point, all Palou really has to do is finish the race.
Yeah.
And
it was locked in.
Yeah, and you've got, even finishing third, he was pushing it. He was trying to get second. He was trying to get first. But it was, to me, at that point, it's almost a little greedy for him.
It's just like, dude, take your championship.
It's like, dude, take the championship. Yeah. Don't be greedy. Come on. That's 4 championships for you, man. And it's just, oof.
Yeah, so obviously
congrats to Palou in getting his championship.
Right. I mean, it was kind of a... Because about halfway through the season, it's just like, I don't think anyone's going to match this. It's done. You know what I mean?
And I think all the other drivers, too, if you talk to them, they're like, yeah, done deal for him. Like, what can we do? Like, we're trying everything we can do. And this guy, they always call him, like, the surgeon out on the track. So what was interesting is towards the end of the race, he went off track a little bit there. And it was like, whoa, wait a minute.
Going for an aggressive pass on Lundgaard, and Lundgaard did probably push him a little wide, but at the same time, it's like that's not a passing spot at all. So like you went for that pass that wasn't there, and you go off track.
In a weird
but he
spot.
doesn't bin it because I mean usually you see some drivers hit the dirt and they're just spun.
But he hits the dirt and he can maintain it, and it was pretty shocking. I think he like knocked over one of the signs.
He barely lost any positions either.
That was crazy too. I mean, I think there were other drivers that
back
markers that were kind of in the mix or in the way of that turn.
Right.
So when you're viewing it on TV, you're like, wait, where is he? But, like, it was second and third that they were battling for. So
Right. I mean, there was definitely some decent performances. Like, I was really hoping Rosenqvist was going to have the strategy to win.
Rosenqvist,
at the beginning, starting P2.
Oh, it was like, oh, boy.
Yeah.
He can do this. He can do this.
Yeah.
And so, there was that beginning of the race where it was hopeful for him. But
yeah, I was really... It just would have been nice to have seen MSR, I feel like, at this stage get the win, that because they've both gotten podiums, both
Armstrong
the MSR drivers
and Rosenqvist have done so well, and also their top 5, top 10 numbers are really good.
Right, and just also like he's the A&M driver, and so gotta kind of root a little bit for him in that sense. And it just would have been cool to have seen MSR have the right strategy or even the right pace, and it just seemed like his car fell off towards the end. So there clearly was some sort of issue maybe with his balance on the different tires, and maybe that just put him out completely of contention.
It was fun seeing his livery, though, make it through, because the
race
before, he's out in the first lap or whatever, and so we miss out on that Grateful Dead livery that everyone was raving about. So it was really nice that they were able to keep that livery for this race, and for him to be up in the front. And
I don't know if they keep that for the last two. I think they're going back.
I don't think so. No, I think they're doing something else for
that sucks.
Milwaukee.
I won't get to see it. I wonder if they're going to do something wild, though.
I think it is going to be wild. I think it's going to be another Sirius XM band or, tribute.
I hope it's something cool. I hope it's cool. I mean, I hope for, like, heavy metal bands, like an Ask Alexandria. No, they already did Ozzy.
Yeah.
I think, it could be cool to see, like, Ask Alexandria or, like, Avenged Sevenfold or, like...
some of your favorites.
Something like that would be cool, because they've been doing a lot of old school artists on there. And maybe Sirius XM doesn't have any, like, newer-ish era stuff, but I mean they did Creed, and Creed was, but that's also older.
It is fun though that they do like kind of older rock and heavy metal, and it's not like all country music. I don't know. For me, if it was like a country music one, I'd be like, oh no, please don't.
Yeah, I think it's just cool that you like these artists can like. All American Rejects would be really cool.
Oh yeah,
I mean that
I could see All American Rejects just because of Tyson being at the race for the 500 and then being the driver at the last race. So
it's cool seeing that livery always changing. I kind of wish that there was almost like they were doing it with the other one too, like the other MSR car. If you could have like two different like artist cars at the same time. I don't know. I think MSR is doing a really good job being interesting, doing really consistently well. Again, they're running Chip Ganassi data, that's why.
And they're so lucky too, making that switch at the timing of all that. I think we talked about that last podcast, but yeah, that's been crazy to see. I really do think they benefit from that information. Also, like just this race too, when we didn't get the pit stop timer very much in this race. We always have to talk about the pit stop timer. I mean, that's always a point of contention that we have. But what was interesting is when they did show the timer for Palou. Palou's pit stop team is so consistent. I mean, they're like 7 seconds flat almost every single time. It's nuts.
And every other team that's consistent is dropping 8. And
usually
so
8.
He gets an extra
sometimes
second
9.
in the pit.
Yeah, but if he's getting an extra second every single time he's pitting, and he's pitting 3 or 4 times, that's 3 or 4 seconds. I mean, that can make or break your race.
It definitely made the difference on Laguna.
Yeah.
Sure. It pulled away any fight Herta would have had at that race, but it's just kind of crazy how good like the 10 crew is able to do on their stops. Like, you see them pull in for the pit, and you're just like, as a Herta fan, I'm like, okay, maybe something could go bad because I'm used to things going bad.
Right.
And it just never does, and you're just like, what the heck?
I just don't even remember the last time that Palou had a bad pit stop. You can put it in the comments.
I would love to know.
Because in my brain, I just don't ever see it happening. It's just pretty crazy.
I'd love to know when that was, because I just you can't think about it. But either way, I think on the other side of the garages, Rossi
Yes,
Finally
yeah,
had his one good
Rossi,
race.
top five for Rossi. He started well. He got into, um, barely into, or what? How did it happen? He was seven, right, and then he got six because of Lundgaard going down.
Well, he started.
So he didn't get into
Yeah, he did start
the
six.
fast six.
Yeah, you're right. That's
He
how.
got
Yep.
yeah, he
He was
got
one
into
off.
the yeah, he
Yep.
was one off, and just
Yep.
by milliseconds, right? I mean, just barely off. And so it was really fun to see that consistency and seeing him hang in there and having a solid race. And he's probably like happy to have the top five, but also wishing it was a little more. But
I don't
at
know.
this
I don't
point,
think that car was looking quick enough to get anything more. I
Anything
feel like
more,
five
yeah.
was like very, very
Yeah.
generous to what this ECR has been looking like this second half of the season.
Yeah.
First half of the season, he kind of came out
and you
of
thought,
the
yeah,
he came out of the gun going pretty quick. Like, wow, ECR's really turned it around.
Yeah.
And then we got to like the back-to-back weekends, and just the car fell
Yeah.
off
Yeah.
really bad.
And I think part of that too is how difficult it is when you have back-to-back weekends. You don't have time to really look at the data and make changes and really think it through.
Right.
And especially for smaller teams, I think they really need that time to really make those adjustments. And so sometimes I feel like they're just throwing stuff at the wall and seeing what'll stick. And you're just, like if you get lucky, you get lucky, great. If you don't, you don't, and you try again next week. But if you're week after week after week, you don't have the bigger teams, you don't have the people that can analyze that
Right.
data fast enough.
Unless you're MSR and you
Yeah.
just get Chip
and you just
Ganassi's
get their
data.
data, yeah, and then you're like, oh, okay, well,
We're chilling.
yeah.
Well, it almost seems like ECR would almost do. Well, they couldn't because they're in a Chevy. Because I would say I
Yeah.
feel like them parting with maybe like Andretti would
on
work
the
really
Chevy,
well,
that
but
wouldn't
on the
work,
Chevy it wouldn't work. So, they would have to get something with like Penske going, which I just don't think Penske would want to do.
yeah. But did Penske used to have somebody that
they have AJ Foyt.
Okay.
But
Yeah,
to do
that's
that
right,
with
AJ
ECR,
But to do it with both of those teams.
they already have that filled, right? So
Right.
I don't know. It just
Yeah.
it stinks that ECR car hasn't been as good because it has been the best livery
Yeah.
on the track
Yeah,
for sure.
still my favorite colors.
Still probably one of my favorite
Yeah,
liveries.
and I'm not a yellow fan at all, but that blue and yellow and black together is really.
It's a good color.
And Java
Yeah.
House has been such a great sponsor. I mean, they sponsored Laguna, right? I mean,
Yeah.
they were one of the sponsors there, and they're at all of the races with their little pods. You drink hot cocoa or have some coffee or tea. They got the energy
drink is
so
good, yeah.
so the Java House stuff, we've gotten some of that. It's been good, and so it's really fun to see them really take a bigger step in this whole process. I think they're also Indianapolis based, though, too, right? Their owner.
You'd think they'd start to come west a little bit more in terms of being a Midwest brand, but
Yeah.
they just haven't made it out to Iowa yet.
Yeah,
and
but come
it's-
to Iowa. We'd
Yeah.
love it if you came to Iowa.
Get a location in Des Moines or something.
Yeah.
It'd be nice.
Even though I don't drink
For sure.
coffee, but I like all the other drinks.
I like the Wrangler personally because we paid money on our own dime
the peach
to
tea.
try it out. But the
really-
Wrangler
Yeah.
tastes like pretty much a monster that you pour into water.
Yeah.
It's very surprising how
Yeah. It's
good it is, but it's like mellow. It's not. It's
Yeah, it's very chill. It's,
very nice.
not overwhelming. And then they have a really nice white peach tea that's really good. And
Yeah.
yeah, so there's some really good flavors.
But either way,
Java House ad, we're just based on our experience.
Yeah, we're not advertised, we're not paid, so it's
Yeah.
fine. But and then Callum Ilott with the other standout
Oh
was
yeah, he's been surprisingly
super
coming up for
quiet drives.
Prema. We don't even ever talk about Prema, do we?
No,
I
we
mean,
don't.
maybe at the very beginning.
We talked
of the
about
season.
Schwartzman. We
Yeah.
talked about Prem at the beginning.
Yeah,
because they were a story, and then they had the pull for the 500.
Yeah.
And
Which
then
is
after that, they kind of
a
disappeared.
miracle. Yeah.
And then the last three races, Ilott's
coming
has
back.
come out
Yeah.
swinging with top 10s the last three races.
Yeah.
And this was a P6. It's just surprising, I feel like it's kind of cool because both those drivers have kind of almost like they've made their money worth it for the team. You know what I mean? They got the 500 pole with Schwartzman, and then they've gotten some really good road course finishes with Ilott here the last few times. And for a rookie team, they're outperforming,
Right.
other drivers and other teams very significantly. The biggest thing I wish is that I wish the liveries were different enough to distinguish the two Premas on the
Yeah.
track, because
Yeah, it's
I
impossible.
swear they look the same.
I think even the announcers too. If one of them goes off track, it's like they don't really know.
It's a
which
dice
one
roll.
It is. Yeah, it's just like based on maybe where they are, if they're keeping track of where they are in the race. But yeah, so Prema, shout out to them for sure.
Yeah.
And so Rookie of the Year battle is still happening, right? I mean, we still have Foster and Schwartzman fairly close together.
I haven't looked at the points.
I
My
feel like
guess
Foster's
is
ahead.
my guess is Foster's ahead by now,
Yeah.
because Schwartzman's had some pretty abysmal finishes
Yeah.
the last few races.
Yeah.
And
then Foster, I think, in the top 10 this race, maybe? I feel like
he was close.
I feel like he
or
was up there, or
yeah.
a little higher.
It's like I said, it's been a week, so don't.
Yeah, I know.
quote
I
us
don't remember
exactly.
the rest of. I remember like the top 6 or 7, and that's about it.
Right. So in terms of my drivers, I feel like it was rough. Herta starting like 16, finishing top 10.
Yeah.
Get the top 10 points, which is nice, I guess. It wasn't a good race for Andretti. Ericsson actually did better in quali, and then Ericsson's race fell off significantly. Must have gotten some drive-through, because he just was a lap down all of a sudden, and it's like, well, what is going on? Even when Ericsson has a good start of the weekend, he's...
That was tough too, because the race earlier had that spin and the corkscrew and how scary all that was,
Right.
and then to have this race, not too great.
It's
and then you were in
just-
Kyle Kirkwood today
Kirkwood
too.
just nothing.
Nothing
Yeah.
in this race.
It definitely stinks, because, it's like where Andretti just clearly fumbled this track. You know what I mean? And it's almost surprising,
That is surprising.
that a road course like this just catches that big of a team off guard.
Yeah.
And Herta is at least able to salvage a top 10 out of it. When it's nice that Herta's still able to be the front runner sometimes, and even the worst races, he's still kind of, out of the three of them, he's kind of still leading that charge. But
I guess I didn't really pay enough attention to what was happening.
But there's just nothing, there was no pace in that car.
Right.
It's just, there wasn't there. VK had a pretty rough one, especially because he looked fast in quali, and then put it into the dirt in quali.
Yeah.
Threw away his lap, basically.
Yeah, he threw away the last lap, so he would have been
Probably would have made it into the top 12 at least.
Yeah, for sure.
He was looking really fast in quali.
Yep.
The DCR, because he got P5 in one of the practices. It was oh, okay, the car is not slow this weekend.
Right.
Has a bad quali, which stinks, because then he starts from the back.
Again.
And then again.
So then you think, okay, biggest mover reward again for VK.
And
but
gets totally tapped by Foster in one of the turns, spun out, and then he said he dealt with pretty much damage, and I think there was maybe a slow stop on top of that.
Yeah.
And it just kind of finished him in 20. And it stinks, because now we've had a DNF, and we've had just a kind of bottom points finish.
Which is so hard after getting that podium. I mean, it's just heartbreaking, because we want to see VK do well. And it's just so much potential in this race, and then to have it not pan out.
And now we have 2 ovals, and there's something could come of the ovals for sure, because I think he feels decently confident on ovals. It just depends on how the car sets up, and I think DCR has a harder time setting up the ovals. But it's, Iowa, we were able to salvage at least some points from the back. I guess we'll have to see how he qualifies.
Right.
I think the biggest thing is VK can definitely get that, to break his record of top 10 finishes. I know that in these last 2 races, it would be 100% possible to at least get one of the 2 in the top 10.
Yep.
I think it could happen at Milwaukee. I love to see it at Milwaukee. I'll be there at Milwaukee.
Yeah.
Hopefully, he might, I'll get to see him in the signature line at Milwaukee, which would be nice. Maybe we'll see if he remembers me or not. But I'm going to try to also get garage passes and maybe see as well. But I think it's just the big thing is for VK to not give up and know that this season we can finish on a high note.
Yeah.
It's definitely doable.
Yeah. So we need 2 top 10 finishes for sure, and another podium would be fun.
Yeah, you never know.
A girl can dream.
Point.
Come on.
You never know. Well, like I said, his dad never thought he was going to get a podium this season, and I thought it was completely obtainable, and he was able to do it. So, you never know. Maybe the strategy comes his way again. I think this race was just a really bad one in terms of
Yeah.
trying to make something of it, and uh,
And I feel like he's at the top of the list too. I mean, if you have a list of if you're going to switch out a driver, I don't think there's going to be a lot of silly season or crazy action. It sounds like a lot of teams are fairly set from this year to next year. But any openings that come up, I feel like VK's at the top of everybody's list of who they would be interested in.
yeah, I think it just depends on. I think a lot of them are saying the Lucas is that sort of kind of like the Carlos Sainz of like
Right.
last year, where it's like, what if Malukas goes to Penske?
Right.
That opens up something at Foyt, which then opens up at
Right.
you know what I mean. So
Yeah, the domino.
and then it's like,
effect.
well, Foyt
it's
does.
really based on Will Power, though. If Will Power is
Right.
staying or going, and
It's Penske's decision,
Right.
if they keep Power or not, or if they actually move. And I guess again, we'll see if Malukas is running another Penske livery this weekend.
Ooh,
Then it
yeah.
would be pretty
Yeah, we don't
apparent.
know the liveries
At that
yet,
point, it's
so-
pretty clear, right? You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Even if it's Snap-on, or if it's Odyssey battery or
Sure.
Expel, or you never know. It could be any of them, right?
Yeah.
And if he's running that again, I think it's kind of clear. It would be nice to just get the confirmation.
Yeah.
I think if a Foyt seat opened up, they would be silly not to take VK and upgrade
Yeah.
VK from DCR into the Foyt seat. Then you have him at least with Ferrucci,
That'd be really kind of fun to
and
watch,
that
actually.
would be a kind of a fun combo. I'd be kind of a Foyt fan for a season for sure. My guess is he has offers
Yeah.
at this point, and I think we'll see
Well,
him
I'm
next
guessing
year.
he has offers to stay, too, where he's at. I mean, at
You
this point,
have to if you're
they
DCR.
don't want to lose him.
Yeah, if you're
So
if
I
you're
feel
Dale
like
Coyne,
he's
you don't
got
want
a
to lose
seat
him.
no matter what for next year.
I think-
feel pretty confident in
I
his
think
staying.
Abel. Does Abel have the money to pay another year? That's
Yeah.
kind of the deciding factor for DCR's lineup is how much money, how deep are Abel's pocketbooks? Because
Mm-hmm.
if they're deep enough, he'll be there next year, and if they're not, then he's not staying.
Mm-hmm.
And that could at least open up the door for maybe Hogger
Mm-hmm.
to come in, or a different
I feel
driver.
I feel like Dennis has it in pretty much in the bag for Indy next. I mean, Kayo's like pretty close in things, but watching the next races with only two more to go. Do they also
I
just
don't
do
know. I
two
thought
more?
they were done at Portland.
No, they do have. I think they're racing at next is racing at Milwaukee, so you'll get to see.
Oh, they
them.
are actually. Yes,
Yeah.
you're correct. Yep, they 100% are.
So I don't know if that's their last one or if they also do their finale in Nashville or not, or if they're done in Milwaukee or not. But yeah, I think that that's been fun season to watch a little bit too, because it's been a little bit closer than anticipated. So
Right.
especially towards the end where it's like he hasn't won it outright yet. So
Right. I think then I think we kind of covered every kind of talking point, I feel like, of Portland. If there's anything that we missed, put in the comments. One other thing that would be good to mention, because we've been asking for it, is the streaming app
yeah.
got announced, and it's not as
Well,
good
it's-
as it could have been.
Well, it's a streaming app for Fox, but I don't know if it's 100% this is the thing for Indy specifically.
I think my guess is that it is, unless
Okay.
they decide to go out of their way like they should and make some sort of IndyCar specific streaming option.
Which they do technically have. They have like the Indy Live thing, which was for other countries, but they were supposed to only have that for just this year for the US, and then next year they would include the US. At least that was my understanding when they released it. So that could change, and it was like only $20 a year. But the problem is like it has a 24-hour delay if you watch it. So
Right. At least just in the States.
the Fox one,
Yeah.
talk about what that is.
So the Fox one is like covering all of Fox's.
Every Fox channel,
Media.
including
So like you have your fake news channel, and then you have your sports and whatever other kind of stuff they have, and which is fine. Like it makes sense for them to consolidate all their stuff into one service. But here's the thing with Fox is you're competing against you have to understand you're competing as a streaming app against other streaming apps.
Right.
You're going up against Hulu. You're going up against Netflix with this. You're going to be going up against Peacock with this.
Or Fubu, or some of those
You're going up against every other streaming service.
Right.
And you're only offering Fox assets,
Content.
which basically just includes like MLB, IndyCar. I think they have some NFL stuff, right? Like your sports, and then like your fake news channel, and like. That's all you're offering on this service.
Yeah.
And your audacity to ask $20 a month.
Right.
It's going to fail.
Yeah.
It will fail. This will not succeed as a streaming service because of that price tag.
You can't pay all of that. If you have your Netflix and you have your, you're already paying so many things for so many different channels that it seems like outrageous. Now, they still will have it on Fox regular TV for the regular races. So, like, the goal is, you can watch FS1 and FS2. But Fox is an entertainment company, too. Like, their news is labeled as entertainment. So, Fox News, if you think it's actually news, it's entertainment.
It is the epitome of fake news because it's entertainment news. That's legally proven. But
there's lawsuits that have gone through. That they've. Anyway, so that's my view on Fox. I would never watch it. I only watch Fox because of the sport. Because
they own IndyCar, and it's just and if they're going to invest a third into IndyCar, you should make your IndyCar app. You know what I mean? Like just show that. And this race we started underneath after a golf tournament.
Yeah.
Which is another thing.
That was like the biggest thing. Yeah, I mean, if we should have started this podcast,
probably should have started there.
You got to start with the podcast. Is you couldn't even watch the race. If you're on Fox. So you have the Live tournament. The Live tournament.
No one wants to watch golf. No one cares about golf.
Then they're like, okay, we're going to move it to 137 or 237 or whatever the time was. And then they're like, oh yeah, well, actually it's on FS1. We started the race, and so if you had just regular Fox on TV and you couldn't get FS1, you literally couldn't watch the start of the race.
Right, because by the time that Will Buxton pretty much mentioned, like, if you're coming from FS1, it was like 12 laps in. And, like, all of the stuff happened at 12 laps. I mean, we're, like, kind of the point where Daly had the big hit, too. Yeah. We kind of forgot that.
Yeah, that's true.
In terms of the race. Like, I feel like we did miss some things, like, for sure. But it's like, what is this? Like, you buy a third of IndyCar.
Yeah.
You show that, we really want to prioritize IndyCar. We really like IndyCar.
Right.
We really, really like IndyCar. We want to buy a third of IndyCar.
Right.
And then actually we're going to move the start time back for IndyCar. And then when we moved it back as far as we possibly could, we're actually just going to start under FS1 and everyone's screwed. If you're actually a viewer you want to watch.
Yeah.
I
mean, that was literally all the outrage last week. And outrage for good reason. I mean, if you're Fox and you're investing 1/3, like, that's integrity to me. I mean, that's like, okay, say what you do and do what you say. We're investing in IndyCar, then show us you're investing in IndyCar.
Right, make it your priority.
By making it the priority, and move Live Golf onto FS1. Move Live Golf somewhere else. Like, who's actually watching Live Golf?
No one. No one's watching Live Golf. No one's watching golf. Even the better to the series, I feel like.
I think, like, for me, I only put golf on as a last resort when nothing else is on, a quiet, calming thing in the background, on a Sunday or whatever. But, if you're a golf fan, that's great. You can be a golf fan, you can be an Indy fan. That's awesome. Like, go for it. But it was just, like, pretty much every IndyCar fan was upset.
Yeah, it's just ridiculous. Yeah. And so, like I said, like, with the streaming thing, once again, you're just not showing the IndyCar fan base that you actually care. You know what I mean? Because it's like, here's your streaming decision. Pay us $240 a year for it.
Yeah.
And for just watching IndyCar, like I said, $10 a month, I would have paid that.
Yeah.
I would pay $10 a month.
Peacock was $6 a month, and everyone's complaining about Peacock, and then now look at the price jump from the $6 to the $20.
Right.
Like, whoa.
And you're getting less with the Fox app because Fox has inherently they have less properties.
Right.
They have the only properties they have are their sports and their news. Like, they're not going to have movies on there. They're not going to have TV shows on there that are quality, you know what I mean? Yeah. Like, all they're going to have on there is their sports. And so you're paying $20 a month for a sports app? This isn't going to survive against all these other streaming services.
Right.
Especially when, like, studies are starting to show or the market's starting to show that streaming is only effective when there's like a lower number of streaming apps. The more that these streaming services that pop up, the more of them fail. You know, because the consumer can only really afford to have 2 of these, 3 of these at most, a month.
Right.
And this one at $20, you're not getting anyone in the door at $20. Yeah. Like, yes, it's cheaper than TV, but like, if I only paid for it, then maybe, you know what I mean? But there's nothing else to watch on there besides IndyCar. Yeah. So if they really want to show that they care about IndyCar, this can't be the solution to it.
There has to be the IndyCar only app, like the IndyCar Live app needs to be available to the U.S. in the moment, just like it's available.
And I will pay again $10 a month is perfectly reasonable for IndyCar. You know, I think $80 a year is better because that's what F1 TV costs. F1 TV is a one-time payment a year for $80.
Right.
That's less than $10 a month.
Right.
I would pay $80 a year for IndyCar.
Right.
But worst case, I'll pay $120 a year for IndyCar.
Yeah.
But
paying $240,
but $240, you've immediately gone. You've outpriced the value of your service.
Right.
20-fold. I feel like you know, like this is just not gonna survive. It's not gonna work. Like if they have some sale of after 6 months, which they probably will, of like buy half off for a year, then I guess I'll get it. But until that point, it's just not a feasible option.
No, I think, we have a strategy that we use, but, some people will use like a VPN and they will watch it from like another country, right? And you can try to do it that way. So I think sometimes, people have other strategies of how they try to negotiate. I mean, we have the rabbit ears downstairs on our TV to get the local Fox channel to watch it on the regular channel, like old school. But it's frustrating because I don't want to give Fox my money like ever.
Yeah, I would rather be giving the money to IndyCar.
Yeah.
And they already have a deal with Fox, and Fox now has ownership. It just makes making this app even easier for them.
Yeah.
And maybe that's why there was this third buyout. If this third buyout was with this massive overarching plan of we're going to make the IndyCar TV app.
Right.
Great.
Then do that
then
give people options, and if you give them a TV option to watch it on regular TV, you give them the Fox app option, whatever.
If
Fox
they want to watch
or
all
whatever
their
they're
stuff.
calling it, that's fine. You're giving people an option, but also give us the IndyCar app option where we can watch races live just through that, like F1 has.
Right. I think just and just show stop with this crap of like delaying the races, and it's. Like I said, don't
do that again. If these last 2 races and they're somehow delayed because of something like this, I mean, you're really going to impact your fan base a lot. And that's not the goal here. The goal here is to grow the fan base and to get more fans and get people excited about IndyCar, which is tough. It's really only 6 months out of the year. It has a pretty short season.
Right.
And, you want to be able to do that. And I know they have some races that they might be adding next year and subtracting next year. And the schedule's not going to be out probably till after Nashville. But it is frustrating when you hear that as, this is a big announcement. And I don't see anybody cheering or happy about it.
No, and their actions are not speaking at all right now. You know what I mean? It's
integrity.
Like they can say they love IndyCar all they want. They can buy a third of IndyCar all they want, and then they go around and they still offer a very poor viewing experience of IndyCar.
Yeah.
And a very, like I said, we're still riddled with ads. We're still, and maybe if it's the $20 and I can watch IndyCar ad free, maybe you're starting to get a little bit closer to making this make sense. But if the ads are still on this freaking Fox app at $20 a month, what, now you're just.
Yeah, there's times during the race where you have like almost 5 minutes of commercials and you have no picture-in-picture. I mean, I'm pulling up my IndyCar app to watch the little drivers go around and see if there's a stop or, a yellow flag or something happening or, it's ridiculous. I shouldn't have to watch that. I mean, some people do, right? They're going to watch everything they can and get all the screens. But to just watch the race as a fan, I shouldn't have to do that.
Yeah, it's just they've yet to do anything that makes me have any trust in them with this property, and as a fan, it's like, it's kind of like watching Remember when everyone was like, "Oh, when Disney bought Star Wars, this was going to be such a good thing."
Right.
There's all these people like, "Oh, this is great. This is great." And then like now in hindsight, 2020, everyone's like, Disney buying Star Wars was the worst thing ever. Look what they've done to just ruin the property. Just sell as many plushies as possible. Sell the stuff at Disneyland and like not actually give a crap about Star Wars and everything about that. And like as a Star Wars fan, it has been a net negative. Mm-hmm. We've gotten a couple good properties, but it's freaking 1 out of 20.
Yeah.
I want it to be 20 out of 20. Yeah. So it's kind of one of these things where this Fox buying IndyCar just feels very similar. Mm-hmm. And it's like we're just in it right now. Mm-hmm. The hindsight 2020 is going to come later, and everyone's going to go, "Wow, that Fox deal really didn't work out well at all. That sucked." Mm-hmm. And maybe they turn it around, but right now it's just looking kind of the same.
Yeah, I mean, this year it's taken them so long to catch up to what Peacock was doing as far as having the pit stop cameras and times, having all of the information with the the race stats, who's where. Telemetry happening on the screen. I mean, it's just it's like a huge long learning curve for them, and it's like, oh man, you guys, and still we're gonna end up the end of the year, and we're still not gonna have the pit stop stuff the way we want it.
Consistently good,
and we're just they're still struggling, and it's like, guys, it shouldn't take this long. You've had the whole season,
right?
So.
Yeah, I'd love to be able to find a way to go back and maybe rewatch last season through Peacock if there's a way, or find footage of it and just feel what that vibe was like again.
Yeah.
Because I really wonder if you rewatch it, if it's just like, whoa, this is so much better.
Well, and don't they even have a 100 Days to Indy season this season? We haven't even been able to see that.
Yeah, because they're hiding that away on their Fox.
Yeah,
apps.
Because you can only watch that there, and we haven't.
Which again, it's just like if your whole thing is we're going to buy this property to try to give it more visibility.
Yeah.
Hiding 100 Days of Indy onto your Fox apps doesn't give you any visibility. Right. That needs to go on Netflix right away.
Yeah.
They pulled it off Netflix once they got the property, and it's like, no, that's where people are going to watch this. Yeah. That's where people are going to give it crap.
Or on YouTube. I mean, put it somewhere where it's accessible to the regular fan, the regular viewer.
You just have to put it onto a different streaming service, and of course that's not going to happen. It's going to go on a Fox One or whatever.
Yeah.
And no, we're never going to see what season 3 of 100 Days of Indy's like. I wonder if it's good. I don't know. I guess we'll never know.
We haven't seen it yet. Maybe we'll see it at some point. I don't know.
Maybe one day, right?
Maybe
but
one day.
Yeah, it's just tough, and it's really annoying because I feel like every time we get on this podcast, it always ends up ranting and bitching about Fox. And it's like, I don't want that to be the case, but it's just like their actions are causing us to rant and bitch about them all the time because it sucks.
Well, as fans, and we're big IndyCar fans, that's the whole point of our podcast, right? By fans, for fans, we're fans. And so from the fan standpoint, from where we view the whole season, this is what we're receiving from Fox. And so when we're not receiving a quality product, just like when you go to your customer service and you talk to them about you didn't receive the quality product, this is our opportunity to say, hey, from the customer viewpoint, the fan viewpoint, this is where you are failing, and this, these are things you can do better. I mean, I think we have a lot of constructive criticism for them, honestly, and things that they could be doing better that aren't that tough to do, really, in the scheme of things. Is it that hard?
I don't think so. I think a lot of these are really easy, and it'd be, just not hard to accomplish, and you give yourself a better image with your fan base. You don't have to come into this being the evil bad guys. Mm-hmm. If you just approached it the right way, and they're just not approaching it the right way. You know what I mean? It's like they don't care. So it just stinks. And maybe next season they get a whole 6 months off or whatever, and they think they
work on things.
Maybe rework it. But it's just this season was just not. We'll have a lot to discuss at the end of the season. We'll cover Milwaukee, and then we'll cover Nashville, and then we will try to do a season recap kind of episode. Sure. And I think we're going to try to do that one in a different format because we want to try to figure out in this off season a little bit how next season's filming schedules are going to work. Like I said, buying a house. I'm going to be moving into this house in like 10 days. You know, going on a trip. It's going to be really, really hectic the next month. And then being separated and not living in the same premises anymore.
Yeah.
How exactly are we going to watch the races and how exactly we're going to commentate on them? We got to figure that out.
We'll figure it out. But you're going to Milwaukee, so let's talk about our picks for Milwaukee.
Oh, I don't even remember really Milwaukee that well last year.
I don't either. Isn't that weird? Like,
yeah, and it's kind of like I do remember races better this year because we have talked about them and like catalog this into kind of like these videos. But I think Milwaukee is maybe it's a Penske race. Part of me wants to say that Polo maybe doesn't have good luck. Knowing my luck, though, he would have good luck while I'm there. So it just maybe I would.
My guess is Polo. I mean, his incentive to win these last two races have got to be much lower.
It's got to
right?
be very little, right?
And so I think he wants to do reasonable, but I can't see him going out of his way. Plus, really, he's not really won a lot of ovals until now. He, with the 500 and Iowa race, like he's
right.
So he's not necessarily, that's not usually his specialty. So yeah, I think Penske's and Andretti's will be hopefully battling it out at the top but then you have MSR and you've got to throw in a Rosenquist or that too. So
I'll say Malukas finally gets a podium.
Malukas and Lundgaard are also really good options here.
Yeah, I think Malukas, he's an oval guy. I think Malukas gets a podium. My wild card pick will be that Daly comes out finally.
Okay.
And JHR doesn't screw him on strategy. So we'll say he's fast and he actually has the strategy to back it up. And we'll say that the other person on the podium, I don't know. Maybe really odd, like an Ericsson, maybe.
Okay.
I don't know what order that would go. Yeah. That's complete random picks. I don't feel like any of those seem very realistic, but
that's okay.
That's fine. Yeah.
I mean, we could shoot, it's so hard, like following your head versus following your heart, right? So if I follow my head, I'm like, oh yeah, Penske's going to be up there, something's going to, one of their drivers will make it up there, and then one of the MSR drivers will make it up there. But if I follow my heart, or what I'd want to see, I'd love to see Malukas do well. Yeah, for sure. I feel like Lundgaard's up there, and I also feel like you could have Rossi up there. I'd love to see Rossi up there on a podium after getting a 5. Yeah, Rasmussen's driving really.
He had a podium.
Well, yeah. So
in St. Louis.
So that's who I'd want to see, and an Andretti driver up there for sure too.
Yeah. So I guess we'll find out. And we'll have a post race.
You'll get to say hi to the drivers. They're gonna have autograph session on Saturday, so you can be there for that.
Yep.
You have a concert to go through on Saturday too,
Saturday
right? So you
night
gotta
concert,
make it to the concert, but it'll give you plenty of time.
Yep. We'll figure it out.
So we'll get some more merch signed, hopefully, and
try it out. Anyways.
And you can have a few little video clips too when you're at the race, and maybe we can toss those into a podcast too.
Yeah, I can try to see what we can do anyway. But again, like, subscribe, share this with any IndyCar group that you might be a part of, any IndyCar fan you may know. Biggest thing for us, again, as usual, is visibility. We'd love for people to see us, listen to us, hear about us. We're doing pretty good. I feel like we're the channel's kind of on a nice little slow growth. The consistent 20 people that always watch.
Yeah,
Shout out.
Thank you.
The people that are beyond the consistent 20 people, also thanks. That's awesome. We love to hear about that and see that sort of growth. And it's been doing okay so far. Again, it's been kind of messy with editing for me recently, but we're working through it.
Yeah, it's hard with timing, and it's also, it's getting towards the end of the season. Yeah, there's a lot happening. School's starting. I am an educator, so I go back to teaching. So, we got a lot happening. So, in the summer has kind of been nice that we haven't had as many crazy things, but now it's ramping up in this last couple months.
So the off season is going to be nice for kind of everyone, team and the podcast included. But at the end of the day, we just make this podcast
Yeah.
because for the love of Indy. So thanks for watching.
Thank you.